Hello everyone. In the world of Japanese manga, many people would argue about what they think is the greatest manga series of all time. Many people would consider One Piece or Dragon Ball Z to be the greatest manga series of all time. For some of us, we consider a certain series which has been called the Japanese Game of Thrones to be the greatest manga series of all time. This series is known as Berserk. From WatchMojo to My Anime List, they all have ranked Berserk as number 1 on their list of greatest manga series of all time. Even if Berserk is not number 1 on a top 10 manga series of all time list, it would be ranked in the top 3 or 5 of the list. Some of you may be wondering, why is it that this series has been given so much respect and praise? Well, I will tell you, but before I tell you, I will give you some interesting information about it. Berserk is a medieval dark fantasy action horror series that is drawn and written by manga artist Kantaro Miura. The themes that Miura explore in Berserk include isolation, camaraderie, and the question on whether humanity is fundamentally good or evil pervade the story, as it explores the best and worst of human nature. For inspiration for creating the story of Berserk, Miura was inspired by Devilman, Violence Jack, Fist of the North Star, Gwen Saga, Rampo the Flying Warp Boy, Pygmalion, Tim Burton, Hellraiser, and Star Wars. Susumu Hirosura served as a musical inspiration for the Berserk manga. He also has done some soundtrack music for some of the Berserk video games, the Golden Age arc movies, and the 2016-2017 Berserk anime. Hieronymus Bosch, MC Escher, and H.R. Geiger served as artistic influences to Berserk, with various other artists serving as influences to the series as well. There was a website that listed some of the artistic influences of Berserk, with Bosch, Escher, and Geiger listed as influences, but I couldn't find the website, so I hope some of you are satisfied with the artistic influences I have listed. Since I am done listing off the interesting information about the series, I will tell you some things about the series without giving any major spoilers. Berserk is a series about Guts, who is a mercenary who ends up meeting a charismatic leader of a mercenary band whose name is Griffith. Years later, tragedy strikes Guts and his newfound adoptive family. This tragedy leads Guts on a path of bloody revenge and vengeance. One interesting thing about the series is with the main character Guts, who is the most complicated manga character to ever be created. The reason why I say this is because he goes all over the place when it comes down to what kind of character he is. Guts has shown to do some pretty heroic things throughout the series. He has done some things which would label him as an anti-hero, or on some occasions, a villain. Guts has gone all over the place, alignment-wise, throughout the series. All of this makes him a very interesting and complex character. There are many other interesting and complex characters in the series, but I don't want to get into them all too much because I don't want to spoil anything to anybody new to this series. Besides having an interesting main character, and other characters are interesting and likable, Berserk has a lot of other stuff in it that's very interesting and sweet. One appealing aspect that the series has is that it is a very violent, gory, and a sexually explicit series. Many of the disturbing moments of the series have a fascinating quality to them, which will make you constantly think about them and even constantly talk non-stop about them. The violence and gore are so explicit in the series that it makes it look memorizing and beautiful. This is thanks to Miura's amazing artistic skills. Miura's amazing and extremely detailed artistry makes the series great and memorable at the same time. The world building for Berserk is also pretty interesting and cool as well. Berserk is set up in a European medieval setting with a dark fantasy and horror twist to it that makes the series really original. Many of the magical and supernatural elements are really interesting and fun to explore. To sum up what makes a series so great and special to give it the #1 spot of greatest manga series of all time, I will say this. Berserk might still be an ongoing series, but it is a series that is constantly evolving and getting better as the years go by. It has an amazing story, complex and iconic characters, amazing and beautifully detailed art, amazing action scenes that are bloody and gory. It has some of the best horror that will make you disturbed and intrigued at the same time. And it has a lot of interesting themes and ideas going through it. We have gotten to the end of this video, but before I go, I hope this video makes you all go check out Berserk if you haven't, because it is a series worth getting into. I recommend checking out the manga, the 90s anime adaptation, and the Golden Age movies to get into the series. The 2016-2017 adaptation of the series is shit, so you can pass on all that. Well, I hope you all liked this video, and if you want more like it, make sure you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share this video around. My name is Vaughn Wesley, and I hope you all have a good day. Goodbye.